shonga chuji anji podrana toksen sanji kanjin konyit razme shurga muzmes tunza sawe lama namla sorwate kirba sanji chua shikdani yamba drupa shomla tanta Sanjay manare dambe chanso lodo jamso shabla sorate lame josme chanso tojeda shirke kure pama shumlaji shendru tsunga kelwe nyuku tanda trupa tanchina trupara ho ranjin lame trambe kajela Kosme charo shitro lazoche Rale jana nipre tujoni Tuyo irmi chivare shinji lo Everybody raised bodhicitta to benefit countless suffering sentient beings. May all beings be free of suffering and all its causes. May they have happiness and all its causes. May they never be separated from the great happiness, devoid of suffering. May they forever dwell in the great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. To sacred bodhicitta, the precious and excellent mind. Where it is not, may it arise. Where it is, may it never decline. Consistently growing, rising higher and higher. We carry on these most incredible teachings of Togme Dzangpo, the 37 practices of a bodhisattva. And it's very important that we know who we are, know about what our rising thoughts are, what our habits are, what benefits, what doesn't benefit. Wise people, they know the reality of cause and effect. They know impermanence. They know the benefit of love and kindness. So what they do, they won't go and do things that harm others and harm themselves. They'll respect those principles of cause and effect, and they'll really do their best to benefit others. And it's very important we have this precious human life. Don't waste it. What are you doing with this precious human life? Is it beneficial? Are you enthusiastic about it? Is it meaningful? So we carry on with these teachings of Togme Dzangpo, the 37 practices. And last week we spoke about anger. We asked the question, is anger unto itself, alone unto itself? Or is it there because of how we entertain it? Or because we entertain it? So maybe we use an example. Maybe we really like something. Maybe we've got a really precious vase. And there's that very precious vase. And somebody breaks it. We see them breaking it. And it almost looks like they've done it on purpose. So one thing we can do is we can get really angry. Go shout at them, go fight with them, physically, verbally. What do you think you're doing? You broke my favorite vase, or my vase. Another thing we could do is maybe we could just simmer. We don't say anything, but we think to ourselves, we're angry, we're upset, we may be a little bit resentful. Look what that person did. Who do they think they are anyway? The other thing that we could do is that somebody else comes, or something else arises. We see it, but then we're distracted, taken away from this anger. And then we're no longer angry. We don't think about it so much. When we come back, it's not so important. We're not angry anymore. Or we could even just think, oh well, how wonderful. I had that wonderful opportunity to use that vase, to enjoy the vase, but there's impermanence. The person made a mistake. Even if they didn't, it's the end of the vase. Thank you very much for all the happiness I had with it, all the use I had with it. So, the same vase, the same situation, but just different emotions, different way we dealt with it. So we see, through this, we see that anger actually is not fixed. It's impermanent, and it's only as strong as how we entertain it. We can transform it, we can let it go. We don't have to get involved in the anger. Just by that example, it can be the same thing. It all depends on our different attitudes. And anger, wherever you are, it isn't the things that make us angry. We can be anywhere, and we can be creating anger, getting angry about things. You can be in a monastery, and you can be getting angry and creating enemies. I was just thinking, once I was at a monastery and it was very far away. We just finished a retreat, and it was at a time that there wasn't much transport. It was New Year, and somebody offered to give us a lift back to the city. And you know, the travel is a good, if you go maybe a good 14-15 hours in the mountains. It's the middle of winter. It's minus so many degrees. And off we go. We're traveling back, and then two people in the car start fighting. They've been in the monastery helping out maybe for a few months, 6 months. Some of them even longer. They start fighting. Eventually the person stops. Halfway, still in these cold conditions in the mountains, and says, "I'm not taking you guys back to the city anymore. Get out, all of you, get out." So eventually we say, "Listen, we're not even near a city. Please, you know." And all he's had is a discussion with somebody else. I couldn't quite understand what was going on. So eventually he agrees to go back 40 kilometers to a city. It's very quiet. There's 1 or 2 people in the street. And then he says, "I'm going back to the monastery. I'm not taking you guys anymore." He's very upset about something. And so we all got out. Eventually we found another lift. And so we carried on back. We were very fortunate to find a lift. And then eventually on the road, maybe 3 hours later, we saw this person driving past. He was still going to the same destination. He could have taken us. He was going that way. But he just kicked us out. And why do I say this? Because you just see, even if you've been in the monastery, you see you can still be caught up in these emotions. So it's not important where you are. It's important. Of course, it helps to be in a good environment. But even if you're in the monastery, you can be creating enemies. You can be there for a long time. But if you're mulling over these angers, these unhappinesses, certain things that have happened, then you can still be taken over by this anger. This person still went to the same place. But because they were consumed by their anger, by these emotions, they no longer cared about how these people not even involved, were going to get back to the city, that they were stuck in the mountain, that they'd have to pay extra money. They just got involved with their emotions. All they could think about was their emotions. I'm not happy with what this person said to me. So you see, this is what these emotions can do. Anyway, so we carry on. So it's much better to drop these emotions. Let go of these emotions, not let them affect us so much. So we carry on today with verse 21. And now we're carrying on again now with attachment. So we're talking about anger, attachment, and aversion. Ignorance. So these are the three poisons. So today we talk about attachment. And we read verse 21. The practice of all bodhisattvas is to turn away immediately from those things which bring desire and attachment. For the pleasures of the senses are just like salty water. The more we taste of them, the more our thirst increases. This attachment is also to be very careful of attachment. very inconspicuous, it's very subtle. Because we think, if I have this, I'm going to be happy. If I have that, I'm going to be happy. So all sorts of desire starts to arise. It causes us unhappiness. Causes us start to plot and think and wonder how we can get it. And to get it, maybe we do negative things, maybe we hurt people, maybe we're jealous of people. We plot and scheme maybe, or it just takes us away from doing what's meaningful. And then when we have it, we want to hold on to it. So then we get suspicious of the other people. We worry about other people, worry that they're going to take it, worry that they're going to break it. Attachment after ignorance. Attachment is number 2. Number 1 is ignorance. Because we're ignorant, we attach, and then we get angry, or we get jealous, or we get pride, all due to ignorance. But number 2 is attachment. Because of attachment, we get angry. Angry because somebody has got what we want. Somebody has taken what we have, what is ours. Angry because somebody stole our idea, because we're attached to the idea. Or jealous because somebody else has got what we want. We wanted that car, that house, that relationship. Or pride. I've got this, I've got that. I'm very clever, I'm so special. I'm much better than everybody else. So attachment causes suffering. Causes also the cause of those other, can be the cause of those other emotions, negative emotions to arise. And there's many things that we can be attached to. We can be attached to our senses. Sight, that looks beautiful. Taste, oh, love to eat that. Aromas, touch, smell, sounds, beautiful music, beautiful sights. Food, we can be so attached to food. Oh, I'll just have another one of those. I'll eat another one of this, even to our own discomfort, even to our own harming our own health. Also harms our pocket. We could use the money for other things. For that beautiful car, that house that I've always wanted, those clothes, oh, what I'd do to have that handbag. And there's really such a variety. It's incredible. If you walk around Hong Kong, you go to these different places, there's really so much. Different brand names. It's incredible how many brand names there are. I don't even know how many. There's shops for everything, all sorts of different things, even just different shoes, different clothes, handbags, just a handbag, something, a purse, a wallet to put your money in, a credit card in. But what you pay for some of these things, they all do the same thing, but people wear them as if I'm the purse. I'm important because I've got this purse, I've got this wallet. So all these desires, all these things that we think that make us important, so many different things, so many different pleasures that we pursue to make us happy. We see this attachment, how it causes us unhappiness. It's like maybe we go into a shop and we see, oh, there's a beautiful mala. We're not even thinking about a mala. But because we go to the shop, we see the mala, the rosary, we think, oh, that's so beautiful. How nice it would be to have that rosary. I could do my practices with this rosary. It would look so good on my hand. I'd be so happy. So we start to desire it. Start to think about how we can get it. Can I have enough money? What do I have to do to get enough money to have this rosary? You could have a normal rosary. It'll do the same purpose. The benefit of practicing help us to master our own mind, our emotions, to maintain our awareness. But no, we want that rosary. started to cause us this desire or greed. Oh, it would be so nice to have that. And then eventually we get it. We have the rosary. We practice very nicely, we're very happy, but sometimes we're proud. Oh, look everybody, I've got this nice rosary. Is anybody's rosary as nice as mine? And then when people want to have a look after a few minutes, oh, give me back my rosary. Sure, that person's been holding on for a while, I should watch them. And then one day we put our rosary down somewhere, we go wash, we come back, we don't see our rosary. Who took my rosary? I know that person's been looking at my rosary, this person's been looking at my rosary. I wonder who took it. Somebody took my rosary. And you're looking, oh, you just can't trust people these days. And then suddenly, oh, you look, oh, there's your rosary. Oh, nobody took it, I just forgot where I put it. And then you have all of this mistrust, all this worry, where's my rosary? Who wants it? Who's going to take it? Where did I put it? And then when it gets lost or gets broken, something happens to it, then there's a lot of emotions, a lot of unhappiness. So initially, without the mala, there wasn't this happiness, this unhappiness. There wasn't all this worry, all this attachment. So we see how this attachment causes us suffering. And also, just recently I went somewhere to visit some people. They were moving into a new house. And when I moved in, I walked in, I had my bag with me. And I sat on a chair and I put my bag down on the chair as well. And they said, "Is your bag clean?" Well, what? I looked at my bag. Oh, what? Is anything wrong? What's happened? Maybe there's something really dirty on my bag. So I looked and I said, no, it looks quite clean to me. They said, "Don't put your bag on this chair." So I said, "Okay, all right." And I said, "This chair is very expensive. We don't want you putting these things on these chairs." And then I was told, "You're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that." And I thought, wow. Okay, all right. I know, yes, it's very good to look after what we have. But the sense of was that all of these beautiful things, they're there to be sat on. They're there to be used. They're there to bring us happiness, not to bring us suffering. But really the sense was that, wow, there's so much. Maybe that all of these wonderful things are not going to be bringing so much happiness. They bring worry, they bring concern. And the people that come to visit, it might bring them a little bit of concern as well. What can I sit on? What can I do? Where can I move? What if I do something wrong and then you do, and then the person comes over you and says, "You're not allowed to sit on this, you're not allowed to do that." So some of these things that we buy them, enjoy them, take care of them, but make sure that they're not the cause of your unhappiness and suffering and the cause of unhappiness and suffering of others. Sometimes relationships as well. We have a lot of grasping, a lot of relationships. Why? Because we have attachment. We're worried that people aren't going to accept us, that people might reject us. Well, what will I do without this person? Who am I without this person? This attachment, this grasping. So even relationships, how often are we just in a relationship just for love and kindness? How often are we in relationships that cause us worry, concern, grasping? Jobs. We lose our job. We have attachment to the job. We work incredible hours. We lose the job. A lot of hurt. Sometimes there is the issue of the money, but often it's not the money that's the problem. Often it's our emotions, our attachment, our loss of pride. We have all these habits to look at my TV, to look at the TV. Oh, what's showing? What program is showing? What TV program is showing? When is that program showing? Habit, looking at the internet. Oh, that's my favorite, spending time on the internet. And we want to consume. We're always wanting to consume so much. And this also becomes through attachment. Sometimes I think it's caused by all these adverts that we see. Why are they having adverts? Because they want us to buy. They want to make a profit. How do they make a profit? By convincing us to consume. Sometimes these adverts make us feel uncomfortable. They give us this image of this great beauty. Oh, if you have this, then you're going to get this boyfriend or this girlfriend. Is that really beauty? Or is that just a perception of what is beauty? But they convince us, oh, we have to have this, we have to have that. In our own minds, we perceive, oh, if we have that, then we're going to be happy. So we have all sorts of attachment to want to look like this, to look like that, to have this, to have that. Then we're important, then we're successful. And so we consume. And this consumption hurts our pocket. We have to work harder to earn the money to be able to do these things, so we have more worries, more problems. And then when we have them, all the attachment causes us more suffering. And also globally. Sometimes I think maybe globally we're consuming. Why are we consuming? Success. What is the success of an economy? How much we consume. People are cutting down the rainforests. Why are they cutting down rainforests? To grow crops. Why are they growing crops? Is it to feed all the world, the people in the world? To help the starving? To make a profit? Or even just to feed the people? No, it's to feed animals. Why are they feeding the animals? Because one day they want to sell the animals, slaughter them, kill them. So people can satisfy their taste buds, so they can make a profit. So most people say, oh, I eat all this meat for health. Sometimes it is, but generally what it is people want to satisfy their taste buds. So they don't consider the suffering of the animals. They just think, oh, I'd like to satisfy my tastes. So what is this? Greed, desire, attachment. They say, I heard somebody say recently, I think the 30 most or the 50 most rich people in this world, all of their money could resolve all the starving in this world. So why are they working so hard? Why are they still earning so much money? Is it for the benefit of others? Or is it because of attachment, greed, desire? They have so much, but they still want more. Wouldn't it be nicer if they used all of that money to benefit others? Even if they had it just a little bit, like a few $1 million every month or every year, it would be more than enough to live on. And the rest they gave to benefit others. Wouldn't that make so many people happy? Wouldn't they also be so popular, so famous? Wouldn't people love them? If they really wanted fame, wow, benefit others. And they plant the seeds for their own future benefit. Their great generosity will plant the seeds for their own receiving later. So, what would be the most wise? It's a good question to ask. And cutting down the forests, harming all these animals, we just destroy our environment. Some people are very concerned. They put a lot of effort into trying to make people aware how to look after our environment. But most people, what are they doing? Just thinking about their greed, their attachment. And no wonder there's so many disasters in this world. Think of all the suffering caused by the slaughter of all these animals. How many animals are slaughtered every day? So much suffering, incredible suffering. Maybe also it's because of media. Today, there's available on television, on the telephones, smartphones. People see all these things and they want all these things. So they stir up people's desire, people's greed, people's attachment. And sometimes I think fear as well. The worry of not having or of losing attachment. So they play fear, attachment as well. I think in the Western world, people really, they have a very good social system. But I look where in South Africa, maybe other countries, that social system isn't that good. Why? A lot of the money is being stolen. Greed. But people, before they open their doors, many people, before they can buy something to eat, they're paying off house insurance. They're paying off car insurance. They're paying medical insurance, phone insurance. And so they have to earn so much before they can even buy food. And then the bond, sending children to school. So I think the pressures of people are there's a lot of pressure on people. Sometimes we're bored. We want entertainment. We're in a relationship. So instead of entertaining ourselves, we go and poke somebody else in the ribs. Annoy them so that they entertain us. We make them unhappy. Why? Because we just want to satisfy our boredom. So what are we doing? Is it meaningful? Do we need this? Is it important? When we want something, it's like, as they say, it's like drinking salt water. When we want something, we get it, then we want something more. And then when we have that, we want something more. And so people are never satisfied. When people have some money, then they want some more money. There's a story of a banker. Read an article. He made $1 million. Incredible amount of money. Then he thought, I better make next year 2 million or 3 million. And he did. And the next million he was thinking, I want 5 million. Then he thought, what am I doing? Why do I need so much? Why do I have to work so hard? What am I trying to achieve? All the anxieties involved. So you see that attachment. It's like drinking salt water. We get 1 million, then we want more. Wealthy people sometimes, they have so much, but then they want more, and then they want more. Better to have more, better to have more. All this attachment. If they're doing this and they're using all the money to benefit others, wonderful. But otherwise, is it really worthwhile? Is it meaningful? Who's it benefiting? Sometimes people become more stingy, grasp onto it harder. More. The more they get, the tighter they hold on to that money. For some people it causes a lot of suffering. Some wealthy people are they so happy? Some are, and some aren't. So we're affected by all of these habits of attachment. Smoking. Use the example of smoking. We didn't smoke before, then we start to smoke. Becomes so important to have our cigarettes. We justify to other people why we should have our cigarettes. Even if it hurts us, even if it hurts other people. And eventually one day we give up and we realize, actually I didn't need the cigarettes. Before we started smoking, until the age of 16, 17, 20, we never thought of having a cigarette. It wasn't important. But then we have these cigarettes to be happy. And then we realize we don't need them to be happy. So it's for so many things. If only I have this relationship to be happy. If only I have these things to be happy. Not only a drink to be happy, some drugs to be happy, but not only physical things, to go gambling to be happy. But not only the physical things, also these emotions. We have our emotional cigarettes. If I have this, I'm going to be happy. Our attachment. Our emotional cigarette, our angry cigarette, our jealous cigarette, our sulking cigarette. How many habits do we have? Of those habits, how many of them benefit others? Really look at those habits. Do we need them? How many attachments do we have? Be surprised if we really look, but we can change them. We can slowly transform them. So how can we do this? The best, as I say, leave these attachments alone. The best way is to see the illusory nature of these attachments, of these emotions. As we spoke about anger, they're only there as long as we attach them. We might really want a cup of coffee. We have the strong desire, the strong wish for a cup of coffee. Oh, let's go get our cup of coffee. But somebody suddenly comes, help me, we need to do something. Then you go, you don't even drink your cup of coffee. 6 hours later, you didn't have the cup of coffee. You didn't even think about it. So you see, we let go of that attachment. We didn't have to have it. So through our mindfulness, our awareness, we can let go of these attachments. We can see, one, the illusory nature. Why grasp onto all of these things? None of these things are ours anyway. We're going to have to let them go sometime anyway. When we die, we let it all go. And if it happens before we die, things are impermanence. No impermanence. Things change. What we have today, we might not have tomorrow, or the next day, or in a while. So no impermanence. Maybe also look at, or if you're dying for this relationship, or something beautiful, look at the negative aspects of it. What is ugly about it? This can also help us. Say, oh well, do we really have to grasp onto these things? So, look at the teachings of Shantideva. He says, when you desire a woman, you can do this for a man as well. Have a look. What is so desirable about this person? If they don't wash for a long time, are they so desirable? Look at their flesh. Look beyond their flesh. Blood, the muscles. What is so desirable about them? Have a look at those things that maybe are not so attractive. It's not to say that they're not beautiful or they're attractive, but take away that attachment. And Shantideva uses the examples of the ladies. Why? Because at those days, most of the people that he was talking to were monks. But now there's monks and nuns, many. The audiences are mixed. So the practice is for everybody. Have a look. What is so desirable? Why are we desiring that person so much? If we like the feeling of that person, why don't we like just the feeling of a silky cushion? So have a look at those non-desirable aspects. Take away that desire, that attachment. Why are we pursuing it so much? Is it really going to bring us so much happiness, or is it going to bring us problems and unhappiness later? Remember, all these happinesses are temporary. They might bring us as temporary happiness, but after a while, that pleasure wears off, the novelty wears off, then our mind gets bored, we look for something else, then we look through something else. We spend our life looking for something else, being satisfied, then being dissatisfied, looking again. We go through our whole life until eventually we die one day, and we're still trying to get more, trying to get something else, not satisfied, making plans. So to resolve this attachment, remember the practice of impermanence. Look at the negative aspects, what's not so attractive about it, to take away that attachment. Know that it's just an emotion, that we can transform it through our awareness. It's only as strong as the energy, the attention, the entertainment we give it. It's just a concept, it's just a label. And just know that it is, in fact, empty. Let's teach for there till today. Let's dedicate these merits in the greatest of gratitude. To Rinpoche, to Achuk Lama, to all our perfect teachers. Because due to them, we learn about the importance of our minds, the importance of love and kindness and compassion, how precious our human life is, impermanence, the reality of cause and effect. in the sufferings of samsara. And also to all perfect teachers. Sonam daye tamcha tsepani, topnye nyepe tranang kajeja, keka nanjil balang trupai, tsepi tsoli troa shok. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemies of wrongdoings in a perfect in the turbulent waves of birth. By this merit may all attain omniscience, having defeated the enemies of wrongdoings in the turbulent waves of birth and suffering, of birth, old age, sickness and death. May all be liberated from the sufferings of the oceans of samsara.